Hello, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural Etacude live streaming festival. My name is Eric and I'm a teacher. And unfortunately, I've only got this quality mic and video. So I apologize for that. But still, I hope that you join us and that you learn a lot and maybe gain some resources and ideas for your classes. My name is Eric and I'm a teacher. And on this channel, we're going to host a live streaming event. I'm so excited for it. I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes for everyone to join. Today has been a bit chaotic. I was traveling and my flight got delayed and I just made it here to my hotel with 20 minutes to spare. Okay, yeah, so I'm very excited for this live stream. We've got 7 fantastic teachers joining us right at this time every day. So if you're there, put your name in the comments down and where you're from in the comments down below. And then also, I'm going to take a couple of minutes just to get everyone to join. And then I'm going to start the presentation where I'm going to share 60 activities that you can use in your classroom. And then at the end of it, I will actually look at some of the comments. And it's very interesting because I've actually got a friend helping out. So I don't have control over this stream. He's going to help out. So if it's not as smooth as it usually is, I apologize. Yeah, so everything is going well. Let me quickly introduce our speakers for this live streaming event. And I'll quickly tell you a little bit about that. So I'm going to quickly share the screen. Where are you? This is taking a little bit longer than usual. Let me see, where are you? Okay, got it. Yeah, so today, let me quickly share, present. It's sorry for it being so wild. Okay, I'm sharing it now. Okay, can everyone see? Okay, so this is our schedule for the live streaming event. There's myself today first, and I will focus on classroom activities. And then we've got Class in the Cloud going to help us tomorrow talking about teaching online, tips and ideas. We've got our very own Boni-esther, who's going to present on a love for teaching. Martin from ELT Experiences is going to join us to talk about continuing professional development. And then we've got Breathe English, the ladies from Breathe English, joining us for English for the workplace. This will be for teachers and English learners. And then we've also got, so unfortunately, Paul from the Grammar Detective, he has had surgery. I'm sure he doesn't mind me talking about it, but he had knee surgery and he's recovering, so he couldn't join us. So please send some love towards him. Go check out his channel, send him some messages because he's busy recovering from that. Paul, we all miss you and we wish you the best. Instead, I asked my friend Ben to do something on classroom management. So Ben has a channel called ESL Revolution, and he also does some camping activities too. A well-spoken teacher. I really enjoy having him on. And then we've got Everything Aja, and she's going to teach us about teaching reading. She's also been on the stream, very knowledgeable teacher. And I'm sorry you guys can't see this very well, but the last person is Brian from Tolentino Teaching, and he's going to talk about writing prompts. So we're all very excited for that. Now for myself, I'm going to talk about 60 classroom activities. Now on my channel, I share lots of activities. You can just go to my channel and you can check it out and you'll find many resources and activities. But just because you guys are here on the first live stream, I'm going to share some free resources with you. And that's also going to be the first, it's also going to be the first 10 activities I talk about. In the link down below, I'm going to share a Google Drive doc that you can unzip, and it has 10 activities and worksheets that you can use. I'm just going to throw it here in private chat. Fran, my friend on the other side, can you copy and paste it in the comments for me, please? So that so the reason that I asked Fran to join as someone on the back end is because right now I'm on vacation, and one of the days I might not be able to assist the teachers. So this is a bit of training. Fran has been doing some editing for the second channel too. So he's also a teacher and a friend of mine. Let's see, posted it. Thank you. And it's everywhere. Excellent. So everyone, I'm going to start with the 60 activities. That's an activity a minute, I guess, and I'm going to run through it. And at the end of the chat, we'll go through some, sorry for all the ams. At the end of the activity, at the end of the presentation or the talk, I'm going to take some of your questions. Unfortunately, I can't do everything on my own, so I'll have to look at it there. If you have any questions, or if you share your feelings and talk about how you feel about these topics. By the way, for future teachers that are going to appear on this live streaming event, I won't be in those live streams because I want them to make it their own. I want them to not feel like it's my channel, but it's our channel, and that they can just do their own thing. And so they'll be the faces for this too. So let me quickly share this with you. I've been all over the place this, let me quickly share that. Present, share screen. Let's find that. English with Prof. Hanif asks, can you occasionally allow some of your listeners to speak to you when you go live? It's kind of difficult. I can share a link and let them come up, but I would like to vet those teachers before I do that. Where is that? Oh, I can't see it. Okay, so the very first activity, I can't share it at the moment, so I'm just going to start with the first activity, is called Mayor, or AKA Don't Vote For Me. Now, you've probably played the game Deserted Island, where students are stranded on a deserted island, and they have to, so you put them in a group, and they have to basically argue and say why they shouldn't be kicked off. So if you have 10 students, or let's make it 8 students, then 2 of them will get kicked off, and it's a majority vote, and they have to basically say why they should stay on the island. Maybe it's their personality, their skills, maybe it's some of the things that they would do for the group. That's the deserted island activity. A variation of it is where the students, before you tell them about the activity, the students draw a picture, and then you take in all the pictures, you redistribute them, then you put them in the groups, and then you say, based on whatever picture you have to argue why you have to stay on the island. Now, that's a good activity. Mayor, or Don't Vote For Me, is the opposite of that. Students have to, so the students have to vote for a mayor, and every student has to give reasons why they would make the worst mayor. Nobody wants to be a mayor of a city. So that makes, it's a fun twist on the activity. So students have to basically, it requires a bit of English ability and an appreciation of irony. But I think it allows shy students to take risks, and it's easy, the students, it's self-deprivating, not in that extent, but that's the first activity. What do you guys think about it? I think that's a fun way to start. That is activity number 1. Now, activity number 2, I'm going to share with you. Now, I shared a link before with these worksheets, and this worksheet, actually, once I find it in a second. Where are you? Okay, I'm going to open up this one, and then I'm going to share the screen. Let's present. It's so interesting using this now. Window and free talking topics. Okay, can everyone see this? So this is in there. It's a worksheet. It's got 101 free talking topics from a hat. So basically, you can write these out. You can cut them out. You can tell students to go in groups and pairs and pick different ones to talk about. But you've got questions on high school. Do you think students should wear uniforms? Do students drive to school in high school? Can students drink water in class? So you can add some of your own questions too, but here are 101 questions that you can have. Pop culture, what pop culture icons are in your home country? Work dinner parties, do wives and husbands attend work parties? So it's some of these, and I think with these topics, you can also use them for debates where one student agrees with it and the other student has to disagree with it. It's a fun way for them to think and for them to talk about these topics. Okay, is everybody still happy? Is everyone there? Let's go on to the third one. The third one, and I think this is a fantastic activity for all classes and levels. Let me quickly find that. Okay. Do I have it somewhere? Please tell me I've got it. I think I didn't save it, but it's on the Word file that I shared with you. So let me quickly see, where are you? Okay, now this is called reverse Jeopardy. Reverse Jeopardy. Now you know Jeopardy. It's so you've got a wall with different topics and 5 levels, and then students have to. So you show them the answer, and they have to ask a question that gives the answer. I think this is a great way for them to practice. And on this, I wonder if I can share this. No, I don't think I can. I wish I could. I've got a paper. Let me just see if I can find it quickly. Where are you? You're somewhere. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try and take it out, put it in here, copy, and paste. No, it's not going to work. Okay, anyway, so I've got a list here for you. So it's got 6 different topics, and it already gives everything. So let's say the first topic is capital cities. So $100 would be London, $200 Ottawa, and Lima, Ulaanbaatar, Accra. So students have to actually go and ask some questions. So $100, they have to ask, what is the capital of England? What is the capital of Canada? And obviously you can change this. That is capitals. The next one, animals. So you can have cheetah, giraffe, reindeer, whale, turtle. In the resource I shared, I've got all of these. So you can just print out this paper, you write it on the board, and then you just write it on the board for them to see, and you've got the paper. And then when a student picks a number, you write the word there, and they can compete for points or dollars. So animals, cheetah, giraffe, reindeer, whale. So with whale, they can say, what is the largest animal in the ocean? If it's $500, turtle. What animal is a ninja 2? Or what animal has the longest lifespan? Students have to get creative, and it's up to you as the teacher to decide. Food and drink, sushi, grapes, maple syrup, kimchi. With kimchi, they can say, what is the national food of Korea? Nasi goreng, which I had a lot of here in Indonesia too. Sports. The next one, soccer, baseball, ice hockey, badminton, curling. I wish I could show you the photo, but it's on the Word doc, and unfortunately I can't share it. Let's see if I can share it. I'm going to try one more time if I can see. Where are you? Yes, I can. Okay. Thank you, Fran. Okay, sorry, guys. So this is what it looks like. You've got the Jeopardy board here. I'll just make it a little bit bigger. I've shared this with you. And it looks like this: capitals, animals, food and drink, sports, world, and science. And then you go down and you can see all these things, and the students have to get creative. Okay, the next activity is called Labyrinth. Labyrinth. Labyrinth, let me stop sharing. Labyrinth is something you can use for any class. Basically, you write the whole board, you write maybe 20 words on there, and then you create a secret path to get to the end. So you've got start and end, and in between you have words. Students take turns to try and get through the labyrinth. So they can shout out a word, eat. No, you go back to the front. And the fun thing is, the way you keep it competitive is that when they make a mistake, they have to go back to the beginning. That way, the 2 teams or 3 teams or 4 teams, they're going to be competitive to get to the end. I think this is a fantastic activity. Obviously, this is for younger learners, but it's a great way for them to learn vocabulary too. And I think all the students will enjoy that too. Hopefully in the future, I can go and work with students and I can record it again and we can do that together. I think I'll try and record it and show you how to play these games. Okay, now the next one I want to show you, I'm going to share again. Fran, thank you so much for being on top of it. It's a very interesting experience. Is timeline. Now timeline. Wait, I think I've got a different one. Let me show you. So I shared this. Where are you? Yes, here we go. I've got it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share again. Window timeline. Yeah, it was. So this is a worksheet that I shared with you. It's got some timelines. So it says here, arrange the timeline in order according to their birth date. Now you can make your own timeline. This is one that I've got for you. Alexander the Great, Albert Einstein, Confucius, Isaac Newton, Genghis Khan, Shakespeare, George Washington, Cleopatra, Bill Gates, Leonardo da Vinci. Put your students into groups and they've got to figure out where they go, and students get each group gets a point for whatever they get right. So they've got to try and put these at the correct place and in the correct order. It's up to you how you give them points. Like if they are 100 years away from the right age, the right birthday, then you can give them a point, or it could just be the order that is correct. You can also do it with some inventions. So arrange the timeline in order according to their birthday, well, probably creation, paper, telephone, computer, compass, and it helps students think logically about these things. Now, obviously, I've got the answers for you. I've got the answers if I share this again. It's so funny. Okay, let me share one more time. How about you guys? Do you think it's fun? Do you think it's interesting? I'm not sure if I'm going to get through 60 activities, but I'll try. So I've got the times here for you that you can just check out. So this is for you. This is your cheat sheet. So I've done the research for you. You just do that. Now, next one, Einstein's riddle. Now, this is not actually an English game. It's a logical game. And I think some of you know this already, but for those of you who don't, I'm sharing this. If you have a class and you want to keep them busy, and maybe intermediate, it can actually go really low because it's a logical puzzle. And I'm going to quickly share this with you. So this is Einstein's riddle. I'm sure many of you already are familiar with it. So use the clues below to find the nationality, pet, drink, and color and hobby of each house. So there are 15 sentences, and the students have to kind of figure out who goes where. So you've got these houses, and then you say, okay, the British man lives in the red house. So you know that British and red. The Swedish man keeps dogs as pets. So you know the Swedish man. But then you don't know which house they're in yet. And they have to read through these clues and kind of figure it out. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes. The students get really invested. And then the main question is, who owns the fish? What I would suggest you do is that you tell students once they have completed it, they should turn their papers around and they shouldn't share it with anyone else, even if they know the answer, and you can go through it later. But this is a fun game. Students love to be challenged like that. Okay, is everybody still doing well? So I'm sharing this. I shared the link with you. It's in the comments. You can check it out. And I've also got the answers in there. So who has the fish? Let me double check. Fish. Oh, it's the German has a fish, by the way. Okay, next one, multi-purpose item. Now, I think I heard about this one first from Ben. And this is a way for students to be creative. So you start off by giving the students an item. It could be anything. Let's say a boot. And then you tell them, you want them to think of as many uses for that boot as possible. So maybe they work in a pair or group and they write down all the ideas they can have for the boot. So it's good for killing mosquitoes. You can walk in it. You can use it as a cup. I know in Australia they call them shoeies. You can drink something with it. You can use it to throw at your friend. So you can. They have to think of creative ideas and list as many as possible. You can give them normal everyday things and ask them to use those things and explain what it is used for. Now, this is a fun activity to do in groups because everybody participates and they get it right. Let me quickly find it and I'll share this with you so that you can see. I've got a worksheet here, but you can do this with anything. You can give them any items that they want to use. Let's present, share screen. Where are you? Okay, here we go. Yes, are you sharing? Good. Okay, here we go. So what are the different uses for fork? You can open cans, eat food, clean pans. You can mix ingredients. You can comb your hair. Rubber boots, what you can do with those. Jam, you can use it as glue. You can use it as maybe like face paint. You can use it for many different things. So the students have to try and be creative. And it's also good to make it competitive because they're going to try and compete and get the best one. Okay, now the next one, and I'm sharing that with you, is rhyme time. I've got to be honest. I don't use a lot of poetry or rhyming in the class, but I think it's a really fun way for students to get used to the language. So let me open up rhyme time for you. Now, what you can do, you share this worksheet with your students. You can give them their own. You can write it on the board. You can write some words on the board too. So in groups, think of as many rhymes as you can for each word. So free, tree, me, cat, hat, rat, stay, play. I was going to say something else. Most, post, roast. Okay, so students write as many words as they can for those. And then you've got to take the activity a little bit further. Like when you teach something, especially with activities, I feel like you've got to layer them. You don't just want to give them an activity. You want to increase the difficulty as time goes by. So first, you can do an example for them of what rhyming is, and then you give them this worksheet with a partner or in a group. They write down as many rhymes as possible. Now you want to challenge your students and tell them, I want you to write a poem using these. I want you to write at least 20 lines, and I want you to use these rhyming words in your poem. And you can give them an example, or they can use it in a story. They can use it in a dialogue. They write it out, and then they can perform it with their partner. I think it's very it's so much fun. It's very easy to do. You don't need anything for it. All you need is your students to buy in and enjoy the activity. Okay, so we're 20 minutes in. I see we've got here Alagul. Hi, wonderful teaching. Thank you so much. Critical thinking. Yeah, it's definitely critical thinking, Ahmad. Okay, now the next one is Pushy, salesperson. This is another worksheet that I'm sharing with you. It's actually a little bit, it's similar, I feel, to a multi-purpose item. Let me go here to Pushy, salesperson. Okay, here we go. Okay, now students need to try and sell these items. And so you can say, okay, cassette player. I want you to, it's like that scene from, what's that movie where they say, sell me this pen. And they've got to come up with reasons, and they've got to try and be convincing in how they sell these items. So a broken umbrella, what can you do with it? You can use it to ward off an attacker. Expired yogurt, maybe, you can, if you've got an insect problem, you can use expired yogurt on them. Or what is this next one? Oh, I can't see this. Why? Go full screen. Let's see. I can't see. An old calendar. What can you use that for? You can maybe use it for teaching. A first generation iPod. What can you use that for? So I think lots of wonderful things for students to practice. Now, what I would do is I would get the students to take turns with a partner and sell items like that. And then once they're done, you ask them to prepare a dialogue that they can do in front of class. So they have to pick their favorite item and then do it like that. I think that is very useful. I see Costa says here, rhymes and poetry are appropriate for Valentine's Day. Yeah, I love Valentine's Day. Actually, I've created a video a couple of years ago on activities for Valentine's Day, and it's doing really well because we're 2 days away. Okay, and I'm running very late. The next one is scatter sheets. This is the last one that I've shared with you in the file that you can see in the comments down below, up there. So scatter sheets, it's an activity where you give students a topic and they have to write down as many words related to that topic as possible. Now, you're first going to do it with your students in class, where you write mountains, and then you ask the students, okay, everyone, give me a word that goes along hiking, mosquito repellent, boots, jog, or, beautiful, or, brown, whatever words they can relate to that. Because with English, you want to create as many connections to the students, for the students to relate to the material. I see I've got my friend Kezia on here. I saw her yesterday. I flew all the way to Jakarta to see her, and now I'm back. Kezia, lovely to see you. Now, so let's continue. Now, you have to always think, whatever activity you're doing with your students, how can you take it a step further? How can you layer it to make it at first simple to understand and increase the difficulty? And remember, you always want your students to give feedback. Maybe not all of them, but some of them should get used to, okay, well, the teacher's going to call me. Now, what I like to do, so I told you that the students have to create a dialogue with each other, where one is a salesperson and one is a customer. You can even let the customer, say, well, explain why he doesn't want it, or ask questions about the item. What I like my students to do is play rock, paper, scissors, and rock, scissors, paper. I don't know, it's different in Korea, so my brain's all scrambled. You get so they play, let's say you've got 6 groups. Maybe I will only let 2 of them perform in front of class. So that makes it fun for the students because they feel like they've got to do it. Okay, let's continue. I wrote down 60. I'm only at 10. Okay, 10, Pictionary. Pictionary is very simple. Give the students a word, they have to write it out. Now, a way that they have to draw it and their friend has to guess. You can give them different words and they have to draw it and guess. You can also give them phrases. So make up some fun sentences, give each one a sentence, and they've got to draw it on the board and their friend has to guess what it is. I think this is also really fun for idioms, because idioms have fantastic meanings and they've got to figure it out. I remember I was at a Korean class and they had English idioms and Korean idioms. And then we took turns where the English, the Korean learners, the English natives would have to read the English meaning of the Korean idiom, and we've got to try and draw it, and the other person has to guess. And then the English idiom, the Korean students had to write out, had to draw, and the other person had to guess. And it worked out so well because it's a fun way to remember these idioms and understand how idioms work. The next one, hangman. It's an old classic. We always use it. Some teachers dislike using the idea of hangman because it promotes violence, but you can do something else like draw an alien. And so you say, okay, well, we're going to draw the alien. It has 5 eyes and 3 arms, and by the end of it, once the alien is fully drawn, you're going to be abducted. So it's a fun twist that you can do on it. Another fun one is blindfolded artist. I've actually made a video about it before, where the students are blindfolded and their friend has to give them instructions on drawing something. So I usually pick, let's say I pick, if it's a small group of 8 students, maybe I pick 4 pairs, or you can also do it in groups. Then I draw a random picture on the board. The students are blindfolded and they have to draw it with instructions coming from their friends. And at the so take a photo of it, and then at the end we see who is closest and you decide. The next one, 2 truths and 1 lie. We've all used this before. Students have to think about 2 things that are true about them and 1 thing that is a lie. A variation of this is where the students write all these things, write down 2 truths and a lie. You take it all up, You read it out loud, and then the students have to guess who that person is. I think that's a bit more fun than this, and it takes pressure off of the student, but they also feel like they are participating. Telephone, very simple. Someone stands in the back, they line up. Perhaps you make two groups, 2 lines, or perhaps just 1 line. You say a word at the end or a phrase, and they've got to, it's also called Chinese whispers. They have to whisper to the person in front, and the person in front writes it down on the board. Really fun. You can also do it, if you're working with younger learners, you can also do it with movement. So you can do some crazy movements. Like, let's say you're riding a bike and you're turning left, you're turning right, doing a wheelie, and then the person in front has to do it for the friend over there. Okay, the next one, word maps. Okay, what was word maps again? Actually, I planned this one out. I was going to talk about it. So many activities I've written down, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to explain this. Unfortunate word maps. Get students to write a word in the middle and branch out. The student has to explain it to class. It's also called the cloud map sometimes. Okay, very simple. So students get it's very similar to what we said before, scatter sheets, but in this one, the students just do it like that. Okay, let's continue. Where are we? Sun, tree, house. Now, this is a fun one. This has a bit to do with emotional intelligence, but it's actually psychiatry. Ask the students to draw a picture. In the picture, there should be a house, there should be a sun, there should be a tree. They can also add people if they want to. Now, each student writes it, draws it out. Now, you can search this on Google what the meaning of these different things is, but these different things are. But the students draw their pictures, they finish, and then you explain to the students what each thing means. So if you just go to Google and you type in house, tree, sun, drawing, then you'll get, it's like a personality test, and it explains what it is. Let me quickly click on here. Okay, what does it mean? Simple drawing. No, I don't want that. Give me 1 second. Personality test. I put my water somewhere. Okay, they call it the HTP, House Tree Person Test. Okay, sorry, I got that wrong. I said sun, but you can add it. Okay, so it's a fun test. Let's see what it means. I just wanted to see what house. Okay, and then you can also, so the students can, what does it mean? Drawing the house. The house is considered the person's family, so that is a reflection on their family. It's got an explanation on Google if you want to check it out. Drawing a tree, that is it's their personality. What is their personality like? You know, the branches. You know, if it's strong, if it's thick. You know, if it's got, you know, what does it say about them? If they draw a person, it's their ideal self or their social interaction. Now, there are different variations of this, but do something that you enjoy. And then after that, you can redistribute. So you explain it to the students and they think about it. You can do some research and explain it to them. And then they get, you take in all the papers, you redistribute them. They don't write their names on it. And then each person should do like a psychiatric evaluation of that picture. What do they think of the person? And I think that is a really fun activity too. Okay, what do you guys think about it? It's really strange being here because my friend is there. I can't see how many people are online. I can't click on anything. So it's quite interesting. Okay, we're moving along. I'm going quickly. I'm getting to these 60. Okay, next one. What do I have? Describe a picture. Now, this is very simple. This is very important in many of the tests that they do. They're going to have to say, they're going to have to describe pictures. It's very important. So get some random photos. You can find it on Google. Show it to your students, and they've got to describe it. You want to practice, I apologize, how to describe things. So you can talk about the foreground, the colors, the background, where things are in relation with each other, the sizes. So students have to practice explaining it. And once again, this is something that can work with younger learners where they learn how to express themselves, and older students. I also like to do it with older or more advanced students where I show them a photo from a newspaper article, and they've got to guess what the headline and what the story is about. So I really enjoy that. Let's see, next one. Word association. That's one. Say a word, go in circles. The students say a word connected to it. So once again, you say tree, apple, fruit, banana, yellow, and the students go around and they see how long they can do it. Another fun one, memory match. Now, memory match is something that can be used in many different ways. So you can, we also call it pairs, where you have flashcards and students have to, you can open up two, and if it's the same, they stay open and they get a point. Otherwise, if it's not the same, you put them back. So that's memory match. Now, how can you use it? You can use it in many different ways. You can use a picture and the word. You can use an idiom and an explanation. Anything that you want to do with that is memory related, you can use with pairs or memory match. That's a really fun one. Okay, scrambled words, scrambled sentences. Scramble some words on the board. Just write down 10 words and then scramble them on the board. Tell the students, guys, let's see who can get all these words unscrambled first. Go. And the students write those out. You can also do it with sentences where you scramble the sentences. And this is great for them to practice grammar and sentence structure. So they can also write their own words. So you don't just want to make it about yourself. You can theme it around the topic. You can also perhaps tell the students they have to write some scrambled words or three scrambled sentences, and they can come and write one on the board, or they can practice it in a group and see how many people they can stump. So I think that is also a fun thing to do. Okay, now what's very important is teaching our students how the different types of speeches. We want to get our students comfortable with public speaking. Now, there are different speeches that you can practice with the students, and you have to explain to them what the goal is with each one. So an impromptu speech, students have to quickly do a speech in 2 minutes. So I tell students, okay, well, I'm going to give you a topic. You've got 1 minute to prepare. Just write down some words, and I want you to give a 2-minute speech about it. That's really fun. It challenges the students. You can also do persuasive speeches where you give them different topics, and they've got to convince you of something like, oh, guys, you have to convince me of, you can use different topics, but like, convince me not to give you homework, or convince your parents to buy you a dog. Okay, so persuasive speeches, what is the goal behind those? Informative speeches, now I think most students are used to these. Informative speeches are where they explain something and they inform you on it. Now, what's very important with that too is to explain the structure of a speech. I also like to do 6-sentence speeches. Now, what are those? You start off with an introduction. Hello, everyone. You start off with introducing yourself. Hello, everyone. My name is Eric. Today, I will talk about activities in the classroom. And then you say, then you start with the 3 body. So you can say, I'm going to talk about activities for younger learners, intermediate learners, advanced or business learners. And then they have to do a conclusion, but so they can do a quick summary. So they say, oh, today I talked about classroom activities. Then they also have to have a call to action. Call to action is, I hope you can use these activities. You have to tell the audience to do something. So I hope you can use these activities in your classes. And then very important, thank you for listening. So many of my students do a great speech, but they don't have a solid ending. And just by teaching them to say, thank you for listening, that actually makes it a lot easier for them. Okay, then the other speech is, demonstrative speeches. These are really fun and practical because students stay busy. They have to do something. So they can, I've done it with my classes where they have to teach me how to cook something. Or they can, you can also let them talk about their hobbies, where they demonstrate and they explain something step by step. They can also do group presentations, so each student is in control of a different part of the group. Now, a big problem with this is you're going to have lazy students and you're going to have hardworking students. I put the fear of God, oh wait, what is the expression? I put the fear of myself in them. Before that, I tell my students, listen, if your group members aren't working with you and they're not participating, tell me, I'll change. I'll put all those students together and we'll make a different plan. I'll minus their points. So you've got to preemptively stop the students from being lazy and not working together. Another way I like to do this. So for example, if the students have to do dialogues, so they have to do a group dialogue, I say, okay, well, each person is responsible for different parts, part A, part B, part C, and then you put it together. So and that helps them do it too. Okay, let's see. Next one. Debates are very important. I think these are for advanced learners too. You want to teach them the structure of a debate, how their opening thoughts, rebuttals. So you want to teach it to them because they also find it interesting. But I do feel like this is for a higher caliber student, but we have to push our students to improve. Okay, next one, compound role plays, compound words. Compound words, this is kind of fun. You give the students some words that go together, toothpaste, toothache. So you can say paste, ache, tooth, decay, toothache, brush. And they've got to think of what the word is that goes with a tooth. Now, I've shared a file like that before with lots of compound words, but you can give them some examples and they've got to figure it out. I think I shared maybe 10 words on the book that I wrote, the 100 Classroom Activities. I shared like a list of things that you can use for that. Okay, next one, table of contents. I can't remember, what was table of contents? Is everyone still doing fine? Am I boring you? I can't see anything. This is the first one that we've got. So I'm very excited to share this with you guys. I'm just trying to find out where these things are. Yeah, really fun to do it like that. I can't remember what table of contents is. What is that? Can't remember. Moving on. I hope everyone's okay. The next one, shiritori, you all know. So shiritori, you start with a word, let's say eat, and then the student has to continue with the next word. It should start with the last letter of the previous word. So eat, task, key, yellow, and so on. And you see how the students can do it. Yeah, everyone's so good to see everyone here. I know it's a bit strange with me here. We've got some amazing teachers coming up, and we've got maybe many great teachers coming on, and we've got maybe 15 minutes left. So thank you so much for being here. Okay, the next one. I think something that's really fun is the shopping game. The students can draw items. Each student creates a shop, and they've got to draw items that they're going to sell. And they've got to give the items realistic prices. And then the students take turns. So let's say you've got 4 students, and the other students have to go to each shop to buy things. You can say, okay, each student gets $100. You can make the money too if you want to, or you can use Monopoly money. And the students have to set up their own shops and then sell the items or the drawings they have. And so they've got to be convincing. They've got to pick good items. So they've got to price it well. And it also helps them to be competitive and try out some world experience, So they can also, at an advanced level, they can haggle for price. And the students have to compete and to see who's got the most money at the end. But you've got to you've got to make a rule. Let's say each student gets $100. They have to spend all of it. They can only keep the money they make with their shop. So I think that's a fun game. Post-it mania. If you're teaching online or if you're teaching in class, you can You've got some post-it notes. You tell the students, okay, I'm going to give you a word. You want to write it out and then go and paste it, put it onto something. So you say table, everyone puts it on. Chair, this, that. Okay, well, it's going to be a bit of a mess at the end of class, but get the students to clean up afterwards. It also works when you do it online, so students can do it like that. Okay, where are we? A to Z game. What's that again? I'm trying to remember all these games. I've got 60 games that I plan to. A to Z game. What is that again? Can't remember. It's probably like categories. A to Z game. A to Z game, you give students a topic and they've got to write as many words A to Z as they can. It's also like categories. I've shared, there's a great website where they give you categories for free. I think I shared it before, and it's great for students. It gives them a list of, so they get a random letter of the alphabet and they get different categories, and they've got to write a word for each one of those categories. That might be movies or something in the bathroom, right? So it's a really fun way for the students also to improve their critical thinking. Okay, name 10. This categories websites, I don't remember what the website is, but just search for categories. It's a really fun website. The next one, name 10. Give the students a topic. They've got to name 10 of that item or 10 things that go with it. Next one, I am better. Now, before, the very first activity was don't vote for me. Now, students have to practice to brag and to be the opposite of modest. They've got to brag about themselves. So you can say, well, not in that case. You just want to outdo your partner. So you start with the class. You say, I was so bad today. I woke up at 8 a.m. And then the next person has to outdo you and say, well, actually, I woke up at 7 a.m. And then you should encourage your students to be creative. I woke up at 6 a.m. and I couldn't sleep too much. It was so noisy. So each student has to outdo the other person. You can say, oh, I'm so happy because I picked up $5. The next person, oh, I'm so happy because I actually won the lottery. And the next person, I'm so happy I found a lamp with a genie in it. Now, this is a fun game that you can play and go around. Okay, where are we? Shopping game I talked about. Secret S is a simple game. Students have to have a conversation, but they may not say the letter S. Another way that you can use it is students have to ask each other 5 questions, 5 random questions, but they cannot. I'm sorry, everyone. Actually, I'm a little bit under the weather. I was traveling and I'm taking some meds, but yeah, I'm going to make it. Only 10 minutes left. Okay, so students can have a dialogue, and and they've got to ask each other 5 questions and try to get the other person to say S. Another one that you can use is dice conversation starters. So you've got a die there, and on each die you can write a different topic. The students roll it, and they've got to start a conversation using that. Another variation I like to do is, if you don't have die, is put the students 2 pairs together. This pair picks a topic for this pair, and they've got to talk about that topic, a conversation for 1 minute. This is for intermediate to advanced students, and then this pair picks a conversation for those students. Okay, next one. Fortunately, unfortunately. Now, this is also similar to I am better. So you can say, oh, everyone, fortunately. So students have to say something good that happened to them. So you can do the example, fortunately, I made it to school on time. Unfortunately, the principal was waiting for me in my classroom. So students have to say something positive, and their friend has to reply with something negative. So fortunately, unfortunately. So you can say, oh, fortunately, I did well in my test. Unfortunately, I lost my test and I couldn't show my parents. Okay, so the students have to think, each student has to say something good, and then the next person has to say something unfortunate that happened with it. Okay, let's see, next one. Sentence change, yeah, that's an old classic where so what I like to do is all the students start off with a story. So, okay, everyone, I want you to start writing a story, and especially if the students are sitting in a circle, put it next to the person. They've got to write another sentence to continue the story. So you go all around, and obviously it gets longer and longer and longer. Just stop before it gets too long, because the students have to read everything to get to the bottom. Before they get to the bottom, just tell them, okay, I want you to write an ending sentence to this. One rule, I don't want the, oh, and I woke up from a dream, because the students will do that. They'll try one of those cheat endings where it's like, oh, I woke up from a dream, nothing's real, So I think that's very good. Word ladder is also fun. So you've got a word, and the students have to try and get to that word. So let's say you've got a 4-letter word, let's say rope, and then you've got work, and then the students have to see how quickly they can only change one letter at a time, and they have to see how quickly they can get to rope. So you can say, oh, okay, work, this. So that's a fun way for them to also, but they've got to, they have to make it real sentences. Once again, in the book that I have, I don't know if it's in the description below, but 100 classroom, no prep classroom activities, I give a bunch of words that you can use for that. Okay, what's the missing word? Very useful. Write a sentence on the board, remove a word. This is also good for students to memorize sentences. It helps them a lot. So you say, okay, everyone, read the sentence, take out a word, read the sentence, take another word out. And then they'll have memorized the whole sentence, and they can repeat it. You can also do it with a dialogue or something like that. Most words. What's most words again? Oh, I can't remember what that one is. Longest word. Students just have to make the longest word. I can't remember what that one is. Teach a robot. This is fun. This is great for younger learners. Each person gets a chance to control the students. So they have to do the same movement, jump. So it's almost like Simon Says, but the student actually gets everyone to move around. A variation of this is where the students have to tell you to move certain body parts and to do things. So it's just a fun warm-up game that's really fun to do. Another thing I like to do is spot the difference. You just go on Google, you find some papers, you're like, okay, spot the difference, one of those spot the difference ones, and the students have to find them. And then you want the students to explain what they see too. And this comes back to the picture game where they also had to explain the picture. So maybe you can use those together. Think of someone. Let the students write down a list of 6 people. And then in a group, they've got to explain one of the, but they have to make sure that it's someone famous that everybody knows. And in the group, they've got to explain the person, and then the other people have to guess who it is. And then they win a point for each one to do it. Bingo, we've already talked about. The students create a grid where they put out different words, and they've got to, you pick random words, students cross them out. If they line up, I usually make it 2 lines, then the first person says bingo, they win. Odd one out. What is odd one out again? I think it's I was going to share this with you too. I'll create videos on all these activities in the future. I've got a billion other activities I can use too. So I'm going to write out words. So it's basically, you've got 4 words. Which one is different? Now, there are different answers that the students can give you, but they have to kind of explain their answers. Okay, superhero, my superhero. Students have to create their own superhero. They can draw the superhero, give him an ability. What does he do? Who is his arch rival, or what is his weakness? So it's kind of fun for younger students to draw their superhero and then explain it. And they can also, as an added activity, like I said, they can create a story and fight crime together with their friend, and they've got to make a story or dialogue together where they do it. And then the last activity that I will talk about is make your own board game. Now, I've done these a lot. Is you can do just make a board race. You draw a board race, you ask a question, and each group can shout out and they move on. It helps if you've got a die because it makes it a bit more fun. I love the spongy dies. Another game that I like to do is where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, each number has a different function. So if they land on 1 with a die, it's attack another group. If it's 2, it's +2. If it's 3, it's +3. If it's 4, it's a bomb and they lose a point. 5 is steal, where they can steal a point. And then 6 can be something like, okay, well, +4. All the students start with, let's say, 4 points. And then the students answer, and that's a fun way to do it. Okay, everyone, I think besides some of the activities that I've missed, I think I've pushed through. I think I just told you of 60 activities you can use in the classroom. I hope they work, some of these ideas. I'm really happy to start off this week's festival because we will have fantastic teachers presenting. So every day we will have a different teacher. Tomorrow is Class in the Clouds. Looking forward to it. Okay, I'm going to read some of the questions. If you have any questions, we've got 5 minutes left. So you can put your questions down below. I'll check it out. Let me go through. Nina No, hello, first time here. Annyeonghaseyo. I can see you're writing in Hangul from Bangladesh. I wish I could click on it. Unfortunately, I can't. Boni-esther says, great ideas. Thank you for sharing. My pleasure. I've got so many more. I want a PDF worksheet to learn how to write a simple essay. Okay. I wish I could click on these so that you guys could see. Anya says, thank you so much for your precious piece of advice. Greetings from Sakartvelo, Republic of Georgia. Interesting. We play snowman instead of hangman. That's a great idea, Lana. Everything AJ is here. She says, yay, classroom activities. Thank you, Yasser, Saqib. What is the best method you use in class? You just make the teaching about the students and do it like this. Nabila says, no, I'm not boring. Yenny says, everything is wonderful. Thank you so much. Martin is here too. He says, hi, Eric. Just joined after a rehearsal with my jazz group. Look forward to joining the live stream. Yes, Martin, I think, when is Martin's live stream? Let me quickly check. Martin will be the 15th. So very excited for that. Yeah, guys, did you enjoy the activities? Which activity was your favorite? I will still share these in the future too, so you can check it out. Thank you, Fran. Okay, so this is it. Yeah, Martin is the 15th, continuing it. Boni-esther says, love, fortunately, unfortunately. Tendai, thanks, Eric. Interesting strategies. First time to join. Oh, I'm so happy. Yenny says, thank you for the ideas. Bal, the Globetrotter. I should have attended earlier. You have great ideas. Working as an ESL teacher in Kazakhstan, I guess, and students don't speak English. It's hard to manage class. Yes, I think the most important thing is to engage your students, make it fun, but also have a reason for them to do that. Okay, everyone, I want to thank you for joining. I survived. I'm happy. We're going to have amazing teachers for the following 7 days. So please join in. Same time, same place. I'll be in the background and the teachers will take over. Everyone, I'm Eric from Etacude, the first day of the Etacude live stream, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye. Fran, you can stop the live.